Joyce. Karen. Karen, you know. That person. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Let me get out of the way. No, they took-
Oh, you're
Nope.
waiting for, okay.
Keep going straight, Joyce. We'll find a short chair for you, okay?
Okay.
No, I gotta bring one in here. Taking the money. Are we getting ready?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Are we getting ready this morning?
Or.
I'm just gonna find a short chair for Joyce. Okay, I think. Oh, I'll just sit in my chair. That's okay. Consider that? Yep.
Okay.
Fine. All right, I got you.
But yep, I can make it work. My chair is.
Right, and I'm glad to see you.
Hey, birthday boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the perfect place. Yeah, right. Whoever this is.
Cole.
How are you for Jeff?
You have a good birthday?
Brenda's a good check.
As long as you're not in the hospital, that's the key.
Yeah.
Trying to join.
Does anybody happen?
Go ahead. You think there's some great tech. Trying to run it off my iPhone. I'm not sure if what would allow it. Yeah. Software company I worked for. 7 years on the software. And they're-
We'll take a look.
Yeah.
Spell it right.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Don, you had sent an email about,
I got a note from Kevin
I would like some
about the July 9th.
for the decorations.
Really.
Okay. Deputy
For the
Chief.
banquet, the place
Oh.
that I wanted to get, one that had some decor in your yard.
Yes.
Did you remember that?
About the retirement?
Well, it was before you went to Mexico.
They're huge, but yeah, I can throw some.
Is it all in Kern County?
Yeah, cause I was thinking I could put that down. I mean, how big are they?
I'd say a pond is like that big.
Because aren't you a deputy chief? Yeah.
Those might be too
know.
big. Because I was thinking it would be nice to like, if they were like about this big, then I could keep that on.
Once a job, hold it down, I'll tell you something.
Give it more of a top.
Yeah. No, these are.
They might be too big.
How are things going at home? Well.
Yeah, definitely too big for a table.
Oh.
Let's give that a try.
You're here. I sent you a text. I didn't get your text last night.
It was awkwardly excited.
Eileen,
I would be too.
Okay, do you have?
You're like your friend off camera, aren't you?
I consider conceiving.
Oh. Last night.
Yeah, I know. I know. Man to laugh.
But you know what I love? I love it. All the things.
Well, first, hold that.
And left.
We need to, I try and get my wife to always sit in the bar.
Very, very, very good.
You know.
All schools.
Trying to cram it all in one.
Yeah.
Very careful. I'm really not about mine. I went out. Arch. I just feel so.
Oh, that's presentation.
I don't know.
So.
It's something that I don't.
I'll put it in.
I can actually make my own two hours.
Oh, no.
That's a presentation.
That was it.
That we want.
That's not a lie.
Oh,
What you said.
It's
Yeah.
a slideshow.
Manual.
Or, and then Skylar, I can do the photo.
Oh.
I just, I mean, it's right out there, and I'm like.
Yeah, I understand. You probably have to have it on those two.
We get that, and I told Jessica, I said, "Oh, I'm really trying to do. I want to try to go to the morning meeting, I'm trying to do more of the things, and so I went last night, and I made a couple of them, that couple of people
I have never
tonight.
done slideshow.
I was there, Walker was there, and he was subbing for that.
Great.
And then her daughter.
Close over.
And then we did the baby.
My son said,
But it was
I'm gonna raise my kids.
Fun, and I
Not
looked
the way you
forward
raised
to
us.
it. I know, so.
Wow. Oh, go for
Yeah.
it.
How did that go? I thought that I didn't go, but I was just like. Was she gonna? I know you're not.
Like a piece of bacon.
I just. I don't know. School.
Oh, is it here?
So I just have to make sure.
Over 200 people.
I'm like.
I don't think there was no complete. No, no. Me and Kay, we made an office, but I'm gonna-
Just takes our men cleaning, trash cleaning.
But what's funny is his wife Sarah and I know I was average
He was always up.
before he is like way back, and I remember she was like, yeah.
We recorded.
We do.
Okay, there you go.
Calling him and we connected.
She's really
Brought their kiddos to a lot of
She always has to take care of.
So we got to talking and we was talking about Italy, traveling, and they live right by you.
She's gonna walk her.
For sure. 5 minutes from my house. I didn't even know.
The kids.
And then I got a couple extra cups.
Actually, I'm gonna put it back, if we put it back there, I'm probably.
Okay.
The copy.
Yep.
Oh, Mr. Secretary of State.
Carry on, citizen. Oh, no.
I'm back, yeah, I'm missing lots of ballots. Nope, not here. They all say Bob Burtis.
No, no, no.
That guy yelled at me, I'm not very happy.
Hey,
Hey, I think it's with all the done, graduated the state. He arranged the. I didn't, find that on Amazon.
Wow.
try not to spend any money. I already spent $45.
The other one is.
That's how much I.
Nobody told me what my budget was, but I wanted to make it at least a little bit
Yeah,
higher.
that's who you're talking
So I
about.
went to the college where I was financially responsible.
He was, was upset. My neighbor's got some.
Then when I went down there.
But yelling at me.
Oh, he needs like this, like, look at the key, like,
I'm not gonna do it. No, yeah.
So
That's fine.
I only need two.
You want the vote on it.
You have to-
I don't run it, so, yeah. Yeah, they were faster.
Yeah, I was asking.
The problem, what word do you think? I mean, he also. Both of us said, you know.
Thank you, my lovely.
Next week on that. Yeah, did that come through? I didn't even look so it's the first time I used it.
Oh, the whole caddy, look at the whole caddy.
If someone gets hacked, you know, then they're like, you know what, 6 months free, we'll give you the top end of the security channel. And I'm like, shouldn't it be always the top end? I mean, why does it go lower then?
Oh. Right. And the message of this is.
What am I? Oh. I saw you. Oh, yeah. My phone.
And I want to be responsible.
They donated all those.
They'll be fine.
Washington State Company. People don't keep reading. No, they don't. No. First sentence. Yeah, first sentence. Oh, I got them now. Yeah. No, you don't. Well, the old rule in journalism, telling the whole story in the first page. But then, so those days are gone. Yeah. Now I just how page.
Fun.
It's amazing what you can do without everyone.
Right, well, every journalist has an opinion, and they write that, we're beyond the things. We're truncating. How's the wife?
Oh, okay, yeah, I see.
New Seinfeld movie on Netflix called Unprocessed. Story of Bob Leonard.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a good movie. Yeah. But the way they portrayed Walter Cronkite. So like every time they cut off there, Walter would keep going, it was crazy. It's a good movie, it's a worth a watch. One and two, Unprocessed. The non-true story of how Hotburn.
One night thrown into the.
And it's not a true story at all. It's funny.
But.
Sorry, nice to meet you.
And of course, I can put your title.
I'm bringing my.
He wanted me to order it, he wanted me to change the bottle. And the law says I can't.
I got mine.
So, I thought, well, here's the
I
thing,
think they filled up half of them.
the way, I have a trade room, but they actually, they're about, they're signed.
I'm not gonna look. I'm gonna pretend that I don't see it.
How are you?
And then you just.
All right, so I think in the order of timing, we should probably get started. Anthony's still outside, but, let's, do a real quick meeting so we can call it official. Starting with the flag salutes right there in that picture. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, I have
all the stars.
all right, we can do the four-way test, but we don't have our banner.
We should have it.
We're good.
All right, we're good. We'll move on to our inspirational. If you have one.
I do. I'm gonna go with my My standby, which is, people might forget what you said. People might forget what you do. People will never forget the way you make them. Ooh.
That actually.
Immortal.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like fun.
My answer. I need more coffee.
Yeah, we all.
Just a little humor. Sorry.
So Skylar's not here, right?
From her this morning,
All
so
right.
that's okay, no problem.
All right, so I don't think, no other, yeah, we do have one, yes.
Most people probably know, but this is my husband, Jason.
Jason,
Well,
everybody.
Service projects and things,
Oh.
often he'll come and you've probably seen corks and kegs and aquafits and stuff, but he heard Buzz in, so he said he was.
We can do that. And then we have one of our presenters here today, Karen Schuldy.
Shirley, good.
All right, good, and with NAMI, N-A-M-I, and I'll let you tell us what that stands for.
NAMI is National Alliance on Mental Illness, the nation's largest nonprofit organization, largely volunteer, devoted to improving the lives of individuals and families affected by mental illness.
Yeah, and you know, you probably know for sure that that's the big deal this year for Rotary. It's one of our main topics. And we had a really cool presentation by one of our members about the importance of nutrition to
Mhm.
mental health.
Mhm.
So it'd be good that we're getting another one. Okay, we do have some birthdays this week or this coming week, starting with Gary O'Reilly.
I still, oh, hell yeah. And I expect yes.
Well, happy birthday again.
Thank you.
And we got an anniversary. Tracy, where did you go? There you are. Yeah, happy anniversary coming up. And then Lance Morgan's having his Rotary anniversary this week as well. So, on there. All right, just a reminder that our meeting next week is the scholarship presentations. So that's going to be kind of a biggie, and it'll be back at the Education Service Center. So please try to be sure to make that. Do you have anything to add on that, Lance, or?
No, just following up with the students, trying to figure out how many people will be there.
Okay. We'll need both rooms probably, right?
Yeah, I reserved both rooms. I called and added the second room to it.
Good, good. That'll be fun. It always is. And just another get out there and do it type thing, sponsors time.
What are you doing? Are you getting ready for a fight?
Yeah, we gotta get out there and make that happen.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got to make sure that Ron's got some money to play with next year. Okay. With that, let's just go on to our little reports, starting with you, Jack. Anything new on?
I got the budget sheet together for the, if we can do the projected budget. I think we're doing on the 30th.
Yeah.
okay, thanks.
And next week, I think I'm getting together with Bob Howe, Rochelle, and Terry to help to get Paul Harris all caught up. So
Oh, great.
hopefully we'll get there before the end of the.
I need to mention something to you later about that.
About that,
Yeah.
okay,
So, all right.
all right.
Okay, and Gary, do you have anything?
Oh, I have a bunch. Next board meeting is on Tuesday, June the 6th. No. That's in June.
It's in June. Yeah, we just had one. I hope it's not next.
Good start. Sorry, I was just left. I mean, it's there, but I couldn't see it.
I'll take your part then.
No, it's,
Yeah, yeah. I know that Eileen will report on this, but, remember the annual meeting make payments, $29 per person. Theme is Hawaiian. Everybody dress up. And, done. A little bit of a big change, makeup policy. I have always been under the impression that the makeup policy of 14 days from the date that you made a makeup, was Rotary International. And I spent the entire week on Club Runner webinars because of their change in, their system and stuff that they're beginning to offer. And, so I started looking at it, and they said in there that a lot of clubs will go up to 1 year to register.
We helped our server out. Can I interrupt real quick? Do you know where everything's going? or-
Nope, I got everything mixed up now, and then I have a side of bacon. Sorry,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you, Gary. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, we don't want Secretary of State to, so, brought it up to the board, and so we decided to go with 3 months. So if you have now, I can't go retroactive from the date that we changed it. But, like Steve, you probably have a ton of dates that I could have added. Because you've gone to a lot of Rotary clubs.
More than my own.
If you would let me know those, I'll make you up. So that's the big change, that we've decided to go with. District 50/50 has 2 types of district awards that are coming up. One requires submission from clubs. And they're on, such things as Rookie of the Year, McLean Community Project Award, International Project Award, Rotary Public Image Award, and Fundraiser Award. So I don't know that, and Innovative Membership Award. So they're just looking for recommendations, and that will be awarded at the district installation event on July 14th in Arlington, which is probably Dave's installation banquet, that I don't think we've talked about yet, have we? So anyway, that's my report.
All right, Ron?
Keep it short, board retreat, someone mentioned, Jack already mentioned, it's May 30th. Bob Howell's house, we actually offered to host, and hopefully it's sunny, so we'll have a nice,
All right, Anthony.
Morning, guys.
All right, Eileen, do you have anything on club services?
Yes, if you haven't, not to beat a dead horse, but if you haven't bought your tickets for the banquet, please do so. We have committed to 30 people attending. We're halfway there. It's $29 a person. It'll be at the food bank in St. Anthony, we're providing the space. So please, please, please get your tickets. Come.
Just Venmo, easiest way to pay those?
That's a Jack
Yeah,
question.
just Venmo's fine, just make sure you put it on there that what it's for. no-
And who it's for.
And, yeah, exactly.
And then, Amelia and I chatted, so they're gonna do an hour of entertainment, which we're really excited for. I know you were part of that conversation. We have the decorations, and so Ruth is good to go. And then if you know of anybody within our club that needs a card or some cheering up or a little bit of love, please email me and let me know, and I will make sure that that gets taken care of. Oh, and that's all I have.
I have a real quick, I may not make it to that event, so can somebody come pick up Joyce? Get her to.
Oh, I was gonna say, I can, with sets. I'm not sure what I'll be doing as far as setup. I can definitely, take her home, it's gonna be kind of a problem too. Well, I'm sure we can get it out.
Well, she can stand outside her house and put her thumb up. Everybody's going by.
Yeah, that's the.
Well, you have to do it from down at the house, right?
So just, if somebody would reach out and let her know, I may not make it. Thank you.
All right, Brian's not here, but, just, reporting on, community service. We had a nice, opportunity at the skate park. Not only to pick up, litter and that type of thing, but to learn a lot from one of the seasoned pros there. And, kind of one of the bigger topics is graffiti. And it's interesting that, he basically knows just about everybody that does graffiti. Good news is they like to skate. So, the topic of shutting down the skate park for a couple of weeks came up as a possibility of dealing with the graffiti. And he said, well, we won't have to go there, that's unimaginable for, a lot of the people. So anyhow, we're gonna be working hopefully with the city and or the county to try to get a little more control over what's going on there and maybe some garbage cans and that type of thing, but, more to come on that. Linda, is not here, but, we should be getting a program participant here in the near future from the YES program when he or she returns from their activities. So we're looking forward to that, but we're a sponsor of the program and that's coming up. And I think that's about it. Except for Mr. Rant, do you have it?
We're good. We're all set with the tent for the first farmers market, which is coming up next month, so we're good.
All right, so, we're pretty good as far as we can dispense, I think, with the usual, happy bucks unless anybody is really, really happy about something, but I think we could probably just march into the program. And we have Skylar here now, as well as Karen.
So John, I wonder if Skylar might be able to stand there.
Oh,
And I can move over here. If I could just get a glass of water too.
all right. Go ahead and just, you'll go ask everyone. And what I'll do is I'll put your program on. Want to go on?
Are you recording this, Don?
Hi, yeah.
Good.
In fact, since the camera's on this.
You need a glass of water somewhere?
Yeah, right there. Thank you. Wonder if we could turn. Turn this around. So we could face this way. Cameras right there.
That way you can see what you're doing.
That'd be good.
Okay, this is Skylar Malin.
Yeah, you got it right.
And, this is Sarah.
I got you a glass of water.
Thanks.
Hey, Spencer. Back, forward, ready to go.
All right. Beautiful. Appreciate it. I think right there, would that be okay? So I can still see everybody and thanks. I do, thanks.
And if I sit here, then.
Great. Is this the microphone?
It is.
Okay.
Oh, it'll hear you, don't worry.
All right. And we want to make sure you're going to be in view, Karen.
Yeah, you might want to
this
scoot back.
camera-
I can move the camera.
Okay. Do you want to scoot over here and be, let's see, because that's the camera. Yeah.
We're very professional in our.
You know, because I'll go there and go. Let me just see if I can sit.
Oh, it's this one.
Okay. Okay, now we need to move the camera again.
No, we're good. Yeah, we got you both.
How's our lighting?
It's as good as it's going.
All right. All right.
having us this morning. We appreciate the opportunity to come and meet all you folks. My name is Skylar Malin. My pronouns are they, them, and I live in Marysville, just up the street. And this.
We won't hold that against you.
I'm Karen Schulte and I'm from Everett and I'm on the board of NAMI.
So just to give you a little bit of history about me, I got involved with NAMI back in 2010. My son was in high school and I have two children, but the youngest one is the one with mental illness and he was really struggling in school. And I was looking for support, so I went to the family support group. And I found that so helpful that I went then and took the family class and the basic class, and we'll tell you about these classes here in a minute. And then I ended up getting trained to do the family support group facilitation in Marysville for a while. But then I went back to school and was busy with my career and kind of faded away. And I retired from Boeing in 2022. And then I came back and said, you guys need any help? And they're like, yeah, here. So I'm the interim part-time executive director / program manager. So NAMI Snohomish and Island Counties, the acronym is NAMI Snow Isle, is a nonprofit organization that provides advocacy, education, support, and awareness throughout Snohomish and Island counties so that all individuals and families affected by mental health conditions can build better lives. There we go. In 1979, a small group of people in Seattle were concerned about the way their family members and friends were experiencing the mental health system of the day. They founded the Washington Alliance on Mental Illness, which then became NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Today, NAMI is the nation's most significant and robust grassroots mental health advocacy organization. There are NAMI state organizations in every state in the United States and 20 in Washington state. Dedication, commitment, and unceasing belief in NAMI's mission have strengthened communities and helped millions. Millions of Americans face the day-to-day reality of living with a mental health condition, and NAMI offers help and hope. We embrace people living with a mental health condition and their families who are often isolated. We offer understanding and support to people who are affected by these conditions. We know that recovery involves education for individuals, families, and communities, peer support, common sense public policy, and promoting public understanding. The heart of NAMI is our unrivaled grassroots network of volunteers in communities nationwide. People with lived experience lead the programs, which are free to participants. NAMI means more than hope. We educate families and people living with a mental health condition, and we advocate across the country to ensure better lives for everyone. So who can tell me what stigma is? Anybody? Just yell it out. What is stigma? Yeah.
Society's view.
Society's view. Positive, negative. Society's negative view about fire. Okay. The official definition is it's a form. Oh, we need to let's move this up a little bit. Oops. Is it a way to move that window up a little bit, and then they can see the whole slide? So it's a form of social discrimination and prejudice that can lead to various negative consequences. So what can you think of that used to be stigmatized that isn't anymore? Anybody? Women in Rotary.
Well,
Wow, that's a good one.
Good one.
Italy.
Women in Rome.
Women in the workplace.
Yeah.
Yeah, women in the workplace.
Single pregnant women.
Ooh, there you go.
Mic drop.
Stay-at-home dads.
Oh, yeah.
We represent.
So we came up with a few. How about leprosy? Well, that's a little before your time, but yeah. But remember HIV/AIDS? Handicapped were really stigmatized. They were held, hidden away and often institutionalized, and we didn't have the accommodation, so they couldn't access things. Pregnant woman is what you said, birth out of wedlock, both for the woman and the kid, right? Divorce was even a stigmatized thing in professional women, like you said. And mixed race marriage. So those are all conditions that used to be stigmatized. And we're hoping that, like those, mental illness will become unstigmatized. So we're hoping you'll take this stigma-free pledge and think about these things. First of all, words matter. We always say use person-first language. The person should not be identified by their diagnosis. They're a person with a diagnosis, not a diagnosed person. And don't use stigmatizing language like insane, crazy, things like this, you know, in your everyday language, because that can be really stigmatizing. Normalize talking about mental health and treatment. A lot of cultures think that that's a taboo subject that you can't talk about. And so it makes it hard for people to explain that they're having issues or to help other people and find resources. So just talk about it like you would with any other health condition. Post positive social media. Nowadays, that can really make a difference. Educate yourself and others, and share facts and your experiences with others. And like I said, just treat it like any other illness. And show compassion for those with mental illness. You know, let's not stigmatize them. They're people just like us. Everybody is capable of having a mental illness. And choose empowerment over shame. So we're going to stand up to stigma, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about mental health. What are mental health conditions? Sometimes referred to as mental illness, are medical conditions that disrupt a person's thinking, feeling, mood, and ability to relate to others. They often result in diminished capacity for coping with the ordinary demands of life. They're very common. They affect nearly 60 million Americans every year. Mental health conditions can affect anyone, regardless of race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, religion, economic status, or age. In fact, 1 in 5 people have a mental health condition, and 1 in 20 adults have a severe mental illness, like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. Mental health conditions strike early. Half occur by age 14 and 75% occur by age 24. Unfortunately, most people don't get the care they need. More than half of children and adults with a mental health condition did not receive any treatment at all in the past year. And those that do receive care face an average delay of 11 years from their first symptoms until they get treatment. The cost of untreated mental health conditions are incalculable to individuals, their family, our society. We all pay the price. We pay a high price in unemployment. Most adults with severe mental illness don't get the supports they need to get and stay employed. We pay a high price in academic success. Adults and children with mental health conditions often struggle to meet their academic potential and face higher rates of high school dropout. We pay a high price in housing insecurity. 1 in 5 people who is unhoused or homeless lives with severe mental illness. The lack of safe and affordable housing is one of the most powerful barriers to recovery. When this basic need isn't met, it's hard for a person to focus on their health, leading many to cycle in and out of homelessness, jails, and hospitals. We pay a high price in the justice system. When people don't get the treatment they need to manage their illness, they often unfairly end up in jails and prisons as a result of the symptoms they're experiencing. Finally, we sacrifice our futures to suicide. Sadly, we lose one life to suicide every 11 minutes in the United States. And it's a leading cause of death among people aged 10 to 34. The people we lose are our family members, our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues. One life lost to suicide has a ripple effect on the entire community. But mental health conditions are treatable, and recovery is possible with diagnosis, treatment, support, and the understanding of families and communities. NAMI works to overcome the barriers of stigma, prejudice, and ignorance. Most people living with a mental health condition can experience relief from symptoms and wellness with intervention and treatment from a quality healthcare system and communities like you that understand. Serious mental illness, remember I said 1 in 20 have serious mental illness, and it could be one of these things: a depressive disorder, which is a persistent illness characterized by despair and hopelessness that affects one's thoughts, feelings, behavior, mood, and physical health. Bipolar disorder is a medical illness that causes extreme shifts in mood, energy, and functioning. And it's characterized by episodes of mania and depression, which may vary over a person's life. Schizophrenia is a severe mental illness that interferes with a person's ability to think, distinguish reality from fantasy, manage emotions, make decisions, and relate to others. Obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, is an anxiety disorder characterized by obsessions, intrusive or irrational thoughts, compulsions, repetitive rituals such as hand washing or checking, which are experienced for more than an hour each day in a way that interferes with a person's life. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, is an anxiety disorder characterized by continually re-experiencing a profound traumatic event, avoiding individuals' thoughts or situations associated with the event, and demonstrating symptoms of excessive emotions. Borderline personality disorder, BPD, is a disorder characterized by pervasive instability in moods, interpersonal relationships, self-image, and behavior. In Snohomish and Island counties, the areas that we support, more than ever, people need access to behavioral health treatments and support. According to the 2021 Washington State Healthy Youth Survey, suicide is the second leading cause of death for Washingtonian teens 15 to 19 years old. In Snohomish and Island counties, feelings of hopelessness and suicide have increased since 2010, and the demographics show this is worse among American Indian or Alaska Native, female, non-heterosexual, and disabled students. In Snohomish County, 34% of 8th graders, 39% of 10th graders, and 45% of 12th graders felt so sad or hopeless for 2 weeks or more that they stopped doing their usual activities. And it's even worse in Island County. These graphs show the increase in 10th graders feeling more hopeless and suicidal since 2010. This graph shows health indicators for 8th, 10th, and 12th graders in 2021. And we can see the prevalence of their suicidal thinking. NAMI's mission is to provide advocacy, education, support, and public awareness so that all individuals and families affected by mental illness can build better lives. NAMI advocates for access to service, treatment, support, and research. NAMI addresses the mental health needs of our communities by offering a range of evidence-based education and support programs. These programs are designed to be accessible and effective, and they are provided free of charge to ensure that everyone can benefit. It is steadfast in its commitment to raise awareness, replacing stigma with understanding, and building a community of hope for those in need. So the NAMI support programs that we have are NAMI Connection Recovery Support Group, which is a peer-led support group for adults who have experienced symptoms of a mental health condition. Trained leaders with similar lived experience facilitate the support group meetings. Participants gain insight and hope from hearing about others' challenges and successes. The family support group is a peer-led support group for adults with a loved one who has experienced symptoms of mental health condition. NAMI on Campus is a club available to high schools and colleges that strives to eradicate the stigma surrounding mental health, making it easier for students to discuss mental health and seek the necessary supports. The educational programs include NAMI Basics, which is a 6-week educational program for parents, caregivers, and other family members who provide care for youth age 22 and younger experiencing mental health symptoms. It's available in person, online, and on the national website as a self-paced e-learning format that you can do at your own time, at your own pace. Family to Family is an 8-week educational program for families, significant others, and friends of people with mental health conditions. Research shows that the program significantly improves the coping and problem-solving abilities of people closest to a person with a mental health condition. And Homefront is the same sort of thing, but it's tailored to service members and veterans. Peer to Peer is an 8-week program for adults with mental health conditions who are looking to understand themselves and their recovery better. And NAMI Smarts is a hands-on advocacy training program that helps people living with mental health conditions, their friends, and their families transform their passion and lived experience into skillful grassroots advocacy. And we've had people say that these classes are actually life-changing.
We also have feedback from legislators that say our volunteers who've undergone the SMARTS training are their favorite visitors during lobby day because they've learned to be brief.
Besides the 3 peer-driven classes, support groups, and presentations, which promote awareness, reduce stigma, increase empathy, and normalize the challenging experience of mental illness, we also support these other educational programs. The Crisis Intervention Team training helps first responders improve their interaction with people experiencing a mental health crisis.
If I could just interrupt, we're one of 3 cities only in Washington state that have made a commitment, thanks to Dan Templeman, the previous police chief, to train 100% of the first responders in verbal de-escalation methods in a 40-hour training. So we have quite a bit of pride in that program in Washington state.
Which city?
Everett, Olympia, and Spokane. Seattle always tries, but they have such changing force that I think it's difficult for them to keep 100%.
So we've been involved in that training for the last 12 years. There's also a very good class called LEAP, which is the acronym for Listen, Empathize, Agree, and Partner. And it's a program that cultivates empathy and understanding, enabling participants to build relationships with individuals who may struggle to comprehend that they even have a mental illness and guide them towards treatment, which this is not just denial, it's actually a symptom of the mental illness that they don't recognize that they have it. And it's remarkable how many people are like that. Our awareness programs include Ending the Silence, which is an engaging presentation that helps middle and high school age youth learn about warning signs of mental health conditions and what steps to take if you or loved one are showing symptoms of a mental health condition. NAMI in Our Own Voice presentations change attitudes, assumptions, and ideas about people with mental health conditions. These presentations provide a personal perspective of mental health conditions as leaders with lived experience talk openly about what it's like to have a mental health condition. And one of the people in our group is in recovery from schizophrenia, and she explains what it's like when you're hearing voices, things like that. NAMI Family and Friends is a 4-hour seminar that informs people who have loved ones with a mental health condition how to support them best. Other awareness activities are our only fundraiser and awareness event is our NAMI Walks. And this year it will be in Kirkland on January 1st. You're all personally invited to come and join us. June,
Yeah.
not even the right, not even the right season. Thank you. June 1st. And it's usually a beautiful day along the beach, and we have a lot of tabling and a lot of information about mental health. Even if you don't want to walk, it might be worth coming down. We do outreach events at fairs and presentations. We provide social media, and we helped establish the mental health course. Example of our local advocacy efforts include advisory boards and committees. The North Sound Behavioral Health Organization, you might know it as NSBHO, the 110 sales tax, the chemical dependency and mental health, the triage facility, and the Snohomish County Law and Justice Committee. NAMI Snow Isle established Everett Clubhouse under Hero House Northwest model after Fountain House, New York City, and Clubhouse International. Knowing the unmet need for long-term psychiatric beds in Snohomish County, many NAMI members rallied to support Fern Lodge, a 90 to 180-day treatment facility on Tulalip land in Stanwood, by attending town halls, appeal hearings, etc. And Fern Lodge proceeded to break ground in the summer of 2023. So this will add 16 beds to the existing 6 psychiatric treatment long-term beds for Snohomish County, which, according to national standards, we really should have 435 for our population. Once a year, we go to the Washington State Capitol to lobby for mental health. NAMI prioritized 5 bills during this year's Washington State Legislature session, 4 of which passed. And those include someone to call, somewhere to go, a place to be for youth, and a place to be for adults. So to learn more about NAMI, I encourage you to go to the internet. Our website is nami-snow-isle.org, because we're a nonprofit. You can go to NAMIWA.org for NAMI Washington and NAMI.org for the national. And when you go to the national, you'll see our 2024 goals, which are people get help early, people get the best possible care, people get diverted from the justice system involvement. On our website, we provide information about resources. So if you go select resources and then local resources, you can download all kinds of stuff for Snohomish County, Washington, Puget Sound, and some generic how to navigate mental health problems. You can also go to the searchable resource table, and you can sort by any kind of category like addiction or seniors or anything like that. Speaking of local resources, did you want to talk about that?
We're really amazed that many NAMI families, including ones who come all the way from Eastern Washington, want to take advantage of something that's unique on the entire West Coast, which, unlike our general picture of being quite under-resourced in Washington State, and really at the bottom of 50 states in terms of resources for mental health. But we have an urgent care behavioral health drop-in with no appointment at all, like it would be if you had a twisted ankle or a strep throat. And that is at Providence. It's a different entrance than the emergency room. It's very calm. And they are open 10 to 5, Mondays through Fridays. We know crises happen at night and on the weekend. They're hoping to expand, but at this point, it is a wonderful, wonderful lifeline for many families who are unable to get an appointment with very long waiting lists, as you may know, of months to get emergency psychiatric services. So that's the Providence at Colby campus, drop-in urgent care. And then second thing that we notice now that we don't have it, how valuable it has been, and we will have it again, is we have something called a crisis stabilization center or triage center, which we helped establish through the 0.1% sales tax. And unfortunately, with Compass Health's expansion and remodel, it is closed for 3 years. So families who needed voluntary emergency help, changing medications, being monitored for help from 3 to even 7 days, now have to travel 62 miles to the north to Whatcom County Stabilization Center. King County authorized now in their last election, establishing 5 new crisis stabilization centers, but they are not there yet. So it's was the only one in a multi-county area.
So again, on our website, you can find a calendar of events and you can click on anything that you're interested in, and it'll give you the Zoom link for online programs or the address for in-person programs, time and information. So Karen, you want to tell them what's next?
Yeah. So unlike most of your visitors at Rotary, we actually need more volunteers than we need funds. I hope that's a refreshing thing to you. So some of the things that we can do, and of course, you know, mental illness is kind of like other physical illnesses, from sniffles to a cold to pneumonia. And there are minor mental health all the way to very crucial crises that often interact with the legal system, unfortunately. But what are some of the things that you can do? You can become a member, and having numbers to explain how many persons are dealing either with, as individuals with mental illness, or the horrendous stressors of being a family dealing with these kinds of issues. Become a member, because that helps us represent to city, county councils and legislatures how many of us are really dealing with and aware of how poorly resourced our areas are. So that allows us to have more credibility and influence. Advertise our programs on your social media. We're a very low budget organization. Download our brochures and flyers, and print them out to share. Add your name to our mailing list, and then you get also alerts for advocacy when it's really important to make your voice heard with some level of local government. Bravely share your own experiences with mental illness. More and more people do this. We think this is one of the reasons it becomes more at the forefront of people's opinions. And then, you know, how many do we have here? I think I counted about 20. So in any group, 1 out of 5 of us are living with mental illness. So what can we do? There's an interesting researcher in Chelan, Washington, that said it's called Only 7 Seconds. Can we connect with someone else? Can we break the isolation of someone who is homeless, or our neighbor, or our coworker, or our family? So check in with your neighbors and families and coworkers. So that 7 seconds might be life-changing for some people. This is our Beacon newsletter that you'll get if you sign up on our website, which is easy to do. And for myself, remember, NAMI is entirely peer-driven. It's very unique compared to other organizations. So for myself, I had a son who was getting 3.5 in honors classes at Everett High School, involved in soccer, basketball, baseball, tennis teams outside school and in school, when, as is very typical of the onset for serious mental illness, in his late teens for males, a little bit later for females, he was taken, and finally 4 years it took to get a diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder. which is the combination of the mood disorders like bipolar and the thought disorders like schizophrenia. Very gifted, artistic. These are some of his paintings. Musical, very interested in politics. Corresponds with some of the leading intellectuals of the world, back and forth friendships with persons he makes around the world. Cannot function, however, in terms of obtaining food, keeping up a household, appropriate clothing, and that kind of thing. Doesn't function then in everyday life. So he has had 16 involuntary hospitalizations from 1 month to 6 months, multiple suicide attempts. He is now 42 years of age. So the next slide. I know that you've had a speaker recently about 988. Was that correct? Did I see it correctly? So these days, remember how 911 came about? Took many years to understand what 911 is for, and it's been our go-to. As of 2 years ago now, we have slowly changed to something called 988, a national mental health crisis line. It used to be called a National Suicide Helpline. It is more than that, and I think even the name might have been misleading. We advise kids at home alone, desperate, after school, to use this line. You can call it when you're concerned about a neighbor or a family member with concerning behaviors that you're worried about, and you can call it for yourself. They attempt, and again, they're just coming up to speed. They attempt to allow you 45 to 50 minutes with a trained counselor immediately on the phone, and they offer specialized helplines as well. And you're probably aware of some of the 211 lines. So some of the specialized groups that they have at 988, they will ask, do you need Spanish? Are you a veteran? Do you identify as LGBTQ+? Are you Native or Indigenous? So there is a brief little phone tree there before you get routed to the correct person, and veterans as well. So we can serve all those specialized communities. And you're all aware of the disproportionate effect on certain ethnic and other demographic groups in terms of suicide itself. Because we've worked with 911, and some of you may be involved with criminal justice system here, we have been working with them for 12 years in their 40-hour verbal de-escalation that the Everett Police has really made a mark in the state of being able to provide. And there are things that you can do to help when you call. Part of it is calling, saying, I have a medical mental health emergency, and describing presence or absence of weapons, obviously. If there are any vulnerable people at the scene, elderly, handicapped, children, how many interests there are, what the history is of this individual on medication or not. And then the tip that we have learned, that we learn a lot about police as well, and they have told us that it is possible to be patched in, to ask to be patched in as the vehicle is responding to your emergency. So you have a chance to give them more information at that point in time. And every bit of information they have will help avoid police overuse of force, which we know is a national problem. NAMI has also tried to respond to some of the needs and the horrific suicide statistics that we have for young people from 10 years of age on by opening, again, a peer-driven helpline, which is staffed not by old professionals that you want nothing to do with, but by trained young people for youth and young adults. It's based on the East Coast, so for here, Pacific Daylight Time, it's 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening for someone who just needs someone to talk to at that moment. And they are other young people. Of course, they're much more than all the old people. One other program that we advise that is low commitment is on the third Saturdays, we have a 4-hour overview presentation of mental illness called Family and Friends. It's by Zoom. And we have it this month only at the Marysville Library tomorrow from 10:30 to 2:30. It's a good place to start for people with questions. It is not an emotional support group. People don't have to share anything, and it isn't an interactive education program. However, you go home with a written materials that are also available in 11 different languages. Our connection program has been very popular with things like the partial hospitalization programs that we have in Snohomish County that want to give the persons who have been getting some help a place to have aftercare or transition, and a lot of research on what it means to have peer support, people who are in the same shoes that you're in. Again, we're not relying as much these days on professionals who prescribe medications very well, but not always everything else. And our family support group is also popular. We offer it by Zoom twice a month. We have one in person at Whidbey Island. If the times don't work, NAMI Washington allows you 6 days a week to go to 10 different support groups all over the state. So find one that you like, that you're comfortable with. And that's where some of that information is about accessing other groups. These are a few of our loyal, wonderful volunteers. And we might have a few minutes for questions. Yeah.
So, a lot of great support, and I commend you for that. But are you doing anything as far as research, medical research to the underlying cause of mental health?
It's complex. Certainly it's very complex. We do have a medical director, Dr. Ken Duckworth, who's just written a book, You Are Not Alone, who vets any of the medical information that goes onto our national website. So it's a great place for high school or college students doing research, or you yourself doing research. Very complex. The best we think is possibly a portion genetic with an environmental trigger. The environmental trigger is often stress or trauma. But boy, I'd be the last person to say that we have an answer as to what it is.
If I could add to, I just want to mention that they're very stringent as to what information they allow us to distribute. It has to be validated and scientifically proven and evidence-based. That's why we kind of read scripts, because we don't want to go off script and say something that hasn't been proven. Like if I came in here and I said, all you need to do is take, vitamin C and your mental illness will go away. That's not okay. So everything has been based on research, and we do fund research.
And we do not promote any one form of intervention. So you won't hear any leaders talk about the medications they or their loved ones use, or a program that they think is the best and the only approach. But
And
we
we
allow
also-
people to exchange their own in the groups.
I was also, just one last thing, we don't refer you to any specific providers. Yes,
So
sir.
your funding is all through donations or grants?
Mostly donations. And
What's your annual budget?
well, very sadly, we received quite a boost in our budget that allowed us to hire the first part-time executive director based on 3 suicides in Snohomish County. And I would really like to not have that kind of funding anymore.
Other counties do get more county money, and so we're really looking for some consistent funding so that we can hire permanent people.
I thank you for existing in the work that you do, all the way from on the street, frontline, to that advocacy that you do at the legislative and national levels. I hope that we've all learned a little bit about the stigma of mental health through the experience of COVID, because we've really seen that explode, and we actually offer mental health services to our employees at Sherwood, which is really interesting. We've always had that benefit, but when it was in person, you were eligible for maybe 6, counseling sessions per year at no cost to you. When we went to a virtual platform, our employees are really utilizing it. I don't know if it's the effects of after COVID or the convenience of having those services available virtually, but it has really made a difference to the employees that we've got at Sherwood.
And so what is your organization?
Sherwood Community Services, we provide services to children and adults with disabilities.
Well, we'll add your name to our resource list.
Yeah, I'd like to connect with you afterwards, but my question is, have you heard the term infant mental health?
I couldn't hear it again.
infant mental health.
No.
So we have an early sports program, birth to 3. And when I first heard of infant mental health as a focus of our services, it's like, what can you do with an infant prior to age 3 to address mental health issues? So we've actually added a counselor to our staff, focused on infant mental health. And so we are trying to get that early start, both for the child and the family, to make a really supportive environment going forward. So at first, when I heard it, it's like, really? And now I get it. And I think it's a best practice to try to get an early jump.
Well, that sounds wonderful. We have had in our umbrella autism, developmental disabilities, things that people are born with. But that is really interesting, and especially with the opioid births, those babies are probably struggling. Thank you for that. We'll definitely connect with you on that.
Great.
Thanks very, very much for choosing this topic to pay some attention to. We really appreciate it. And I know where it is on the Rotary priority for this year too, internationally.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you.
And just let us know if you want to be added to our mailing list or sign up for the advocacy alert, and we can take care of that for you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciated.
One comment, about next week. Next week is scholarship giving. It's one of our key times to give 10 students, I think we've got this year, that are coming out of high school. We're gonna give them their scholarships. So Tracy needs some help setting up. And we also need all of you to be ambassadors and be kind of around the front door greeting the families coming in. So next week is kind of a big week for us.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to remind everybody, Tracy needs some help setting up. And then the rest of us need to be goodwill ambassadors for it.
So 7 o'clock? 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and let me know if you're needing special IT related stuff.
I don't.
So I have told the students to be there at 7:45, giving you a few minutes for a quick meeting if you want, or announcements. So if we could start with scholarship presentation, Samuel and I, we'll do that again this year. At like 7:45, 7:50, that would help.
You got it.
All right? Yeah.
Good. That'll be nice.
We will have some food according to Tracy, as she has done in the past. So some of you might be able to have a little bit of a breakfast, but don't take it all because.
Yeah, 25 guests,
I
probably.
plan for Rotarians to eat too. So very simple.
Yeah, when the high school kids get there, it's like they.
A yogurt parfait, granola yogurt, berries. And I'm contacting Raquel. I know I started the email, but I'm not sure I hit send. So I'm hoping she'll help me with the muffins, because those,
Oh, yeah.
those will be better if they're not just the store bought.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
I put some color too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.
Good job. We did we done that. We set up our.
Yeah. and it'll be-
I can't read.
Video on. Yeah. Oh, we'll have-
Have a great weekend.
Yeah. 'cause- No, important meeting, those are.
Black, never come with a black jacket on.
Is that a-
Chair.
That was set.
Almost.
Memorial Day weekend, so.
I know. I know. We've got one student that's gonna be out of